everywhere I go, I tell people, look, you may not be a union member. You better thank a union member. For the 5-day work week, you better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Welcome to Male Reality Lessons, where topics are reviewed and discussed as iron sharpens iron. On Male Reality Lessons today, we're going to talk about political pandering. With everything going on in the West, and with the election season right around the corner, politicians are just talking about what feels good. Forget about the economy. Forget about inflation. Forget about the immigrant invasion. Forget about the attack on family and children. They all want you to believe that there is
nothing to see here. Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
You're literally just donating money to the private sector and getting nothing in return. Getting nothing in return except that you get to watch the most expensive fan fiction movie about democracy ever produced. I mean, look at the Democrats. Kamala Harris was just appointed as the nominee. She wasn't voted for. This is straight up succession, not election. There were no primaries. She hasn't had to outline her policy platform, and no one needs her to do that. All she has to do is to not be Donald Trump. This is the logic of demonization versus policy debate as a campaign strategy. No candidate has to win your approval as long as the whole election is framed in the lesser of two evils scenario. And what's the point of that? To make the pre-programmed win seem plausible. That's all.
Has consistently lied to the American people about Biden's cognitive decline, and millions of Americans gave their primary vote to Biden. Their votes mean nothing tonight.
She also goes on to slam the Democrats for threatening democracy, despite labeling Donald Trump as a threat to democracy.
And millions of Americans gave their primary vote to Biden. Their votes mean nothing tonight. The Democrats have shown again and again, though they bleat endlessly about threats to democracy, they care little about democracy. They have weaponized the justice system to try to imprison their chief political rival. And now they're going to ignore the votes of 14 million Americans who voted for Biden in the Democratic primary. And they'll install Kamala as the candidate.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
people. It is time to wake up. There's no more shaming tactics, talking about you carry hot sauce in your purse, or even washing collard greens in your bathtub. In the words of Dr. Claude Anderson, we need to
practice quid pro quo in politics, which means you got to say to your people in an election, what can you do for me, whether you're black or white, if I vote for you, right?
For the upcoming election, it is just strictly pandering, and it is at an all-time high. If you're enjoying the video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Male Reality Lessons.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
Well,
I mean, this is...
she was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
same
you think...
line.
Okay, Peter.
That she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
I mean, do you hear the question that you're... I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care... You know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about health care. That's what Americans care about.
So
That's what they want to hear.
This is something.
They care about. Your colleague just asked me about what basically we talked about, went back and forth about democracy and freedom. That's what they care about. I'm not even going to entertain some question about the president. It's just hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Speaking in different accents depending on her audience. To me, it is part of it. It is part of it. No core beliefs. She's just pandering. Why? Who else does that?
Well, let me quote you back to you. I believe that you coined the phrase shapeshifter. And it's not just her policies, but now you're right, it's her accents. And it's pandering at its worst. It's amazing that it doesn't get the attention that it should, because any other politician that did what she did, not only on her issues, but clearly now in the tone of voice that she uses, it's insulting to the American people. It's demeaning to voters. And frankly, I can't believe that someone thinks in this day and age with video that you can get away with it. But this is at least I think the third time that she has done this. So it's not just the issues that she's a shapeshifter on, but it's actually her accents. And in any other political world, this would be a story. And frankly, it would be insulting, the idea that you pick up an accent and make it sound like you're one of them.
That's a damn shame.
It shows no real sense of self either. You cannot imagine Donald Trump changing his accent depending on the mob is with. That CNN interview that Kamala Harris finally agreed to, the only one she's given in a month and a half now as candidate. What did you make of it?
I mean, it was embarrassing, to be honest with you. I think it was 50-50. I was embarrassed for CNN, who likes to talk about themselves as a legitimate news organization. On a number of fronts, it was embarrassing, the lack of follow-up, the issues that were covered, the length and time. And let's be clear, this was, I'll speak in language the left likes to talk about, their pronouns. This was supposed to be her interview, and it ended up being their interview. It was kind of pathetic that she couldn't handle a one-on-one. It looked like a mix between a parent-teacher-student, conference that you have for a child and then a deposition. But she kept going back to, my values haven't changed. Well, then what did change? But on every question that she was asked, it was so staged, phony, and inauthentic. I think that the funny part about that, Andrew, is number one, you realize why they don't do them often. Number two, I don't think you'll see another one again, at least not before the September 10th debate. And number three is it just continued to reveal how inauthentic she is. I think she did more damage than good by this interview. There were so many voters that I talked to that said, I was on the fence to vote for her. I don't like Trump. I just can't vote for her now. She really did some damage with that interview.
Well, I thought so. She's a diminutive woman to start with, but then to have, this big bloke waltz next to her, it really dwarfed her. And I think a lot of people have missed what he was really there for. It wasn't just as a coach or a comfort animal or something like that, a comfort pet. It was so that some questions would be directed to him to just soak up the time to minimise how many opportunities she'd have to stuff up. The polls are finally shorn. The media keep promoting ones. The Drudge Report has turned into a fully fledged Vote Kamala operation. It's a shadow of itself. But the media keeps promoting polls showing Harris leading Trump everywhere. But I actually see respectable polls showing she's behind in many of the states she actually needs to win. How do you see it?
Well, look, I think we always knew it was going to be tight. Once they got rid of Joe Biden, the reality is that it was going to be a tight race from the beginning. We've had 2 cycles of tight races. But here's the glimmer of hope for Trump more than anything else, because in the final 60 days, we'll go back and forth in the various battleground states, who's up, who's down. Whether it's immigration, the economy, inflation, on every one of those key issues that the American people say are top of mind with respect to how they're going to make up their mind to vote, Donald Trump is up somewhere close to double digits. I had a chance to talk to President Trump Friday night. We talked a little about policy, but he gets this. And I think the more that we see it down the stretch. I would expect to see more focus on those key issues because he wins on every single one of them.
Here are my thoughts. Politics in general is a dirty business. And it's unfortunate that we don't have, although on paper we have 3 parties, we really don't have in a practical sense. I'm not sure where Brother Cornel West is with regards to being on the ballot in all 50 states, but unfortunately we know he doesn't really have a chance. But until then, I say vote what is in your best interest and not necessarily because it was something your people once did or you just want to be one in the crowd. But I want to hear from you in the comments section. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this topic and any other topic here on Male Reality Lessons. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Smash that like button and have a good day.